Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video we will see how we can create a sales email prompt template that's grounded with Apex merge fields. So let's start with a quick overview of what we are going to implement today. So let's say you are a Salesforce admin and your sales team requests an easier way to send emails to your contacts about all the nearby marketing events. So you create an email prompt template that launches an Apex to get the marketing events from the same city and state as per your contact. So to implement this use case, there are a few steps that we are going to do. The first is we have to create an Apex class to fetch the marketing events from the same city and state as per your contact. Then we will create a sales email prompt template that will invoke our Apex class. And finally, we will see how we can use that template from our record. Before we deep dive into the implementation, let's see some prerequisites for the Apex class. So the Apex class must contain one method annotated with invocable method. And the invocable method must also needs to define the capability type that matches the prompt template type. For example, for a sales email prompt template, the annotation is like this. Similarly, for other prompt template types, the annotation for the capability type vary a little bit. So you can see in this table different capability types available for each of the prompt template type. Now let's see how the input parameters looks like. So the method's input parameter must have a data type list of request, and the request class defines an invocable variable member for each input defined by the prompt template type. And all those inputs are passed from the prompt template into your invocable method. And for each capability type, we have to define some specific invocable variable members. For example, for a sales email capability type, it requires sender and receiver member variable in the request class. So we can see this in the template that the request class is defined, and inside that we have added the sender and recipient member with the annotation invocable variable. Now let's see the method output. The method output has a data type list of response, and similar to the request class, the response class also contains a single string member that's named prompt, and that is also annotated with the invocable variable. So we can see this in this template that the response class is defined, and inside that we have added a invocable variable member, and the name of it is prompt. Now that we have seen the prerequisites of an Apex class, let's see all that in action. First, log into your Salesforce org and go to your developer console, and from here you can create your Apex class. I have already created my Apex class, so let's quickly go through this Apex class. So I have written this Apex class in which I have added one method that's annotated with invocable method, and also the capability type is prompt template type, Einstein GPT, and sales email. And also you can see the input parameter of this invocable method is list of request, and below I have defined my request class, inside which I have given the sender and recipient invocable variable member, and similarly my response class is also here with one invocable variable that's called prompt. Now let's go through our invocable method. So in this list of request, we are passing the inputs from the prompt template type, from the prompt template. So it will store the inputs from your template. So in our case, it will store the contact details, and it will always have the one entry. That's why we are checking here in this condition. If the size of this request is not equal to 1, we are throwing the exception that the request list must contain one entry. And if the request size is 1, then we are adding the 0th index of this request to a contact variable, and we are again creating two more variables for the city and state in which we are assigning the contact, mailing city and mailing state values. After that, we are writing one SQL query on the event object. This query will fetch all the marketing events based on the city and state of the recipient. After that, we are adding this if else condition. So this condition is actually checking if the results from this query is empty or not. So if the results is empty, we are in the response data, we are adding the details like no upcoming marketing events near you. And if the results are not empty, then it will come into this condition, and after that we are iterating over all the events returned from this query, and we are appending the event details to this response data. So we can see the event subject, event description, location, start date for each of the events is being appended in this response data. And after this for loop, this response data will contain the event details for each of the events returned from this query. And after that, we are creating an instance of this response class, and we are adding the response data to this prompt variable. And finally, we are returning the response from this invocable method. So this way we can write our Apex class. Now let's see how we can invoke this Apex class from our prompt template. For that, go to the setup, search for prompt builder in the quick find. Click on this new prompt template. From the prompt template type, select sales email, and in the prompt template name, we can give any random name to our template. In the recipient, I am selecting contact, and in the related object, I am keeping it blank for now. Let's click on next. Now in the prompt template workspace, we can write our instructions. So I have already written one instruction. I am simply copying it. Now let's go through this instructions. So here I have added, you are an account executive and your name is, let's replace this placeholder with the sender name. So we want to specify the name of the sender, and we also want to specify the recipient details. So here I am also replacing this placeholder with the recipient full name, so that our prompt will know the participant details, who is the sender and who is the recipient. And now for the recipient company field, I am just replacing this placeholder with the recipient account name. This okay. Now under the instructions, I have given some basic information about the styling, about how long I want my email should be, and what language and what tone I am expecting from my response. So all those I have written here. And for the event information, let's replace this placeholder from our Apex class. So what it will do is, it will fetch all the events from your Apex class. So this is my Apex class contact events prompt. We can see that contacts event prompt is the Apex class name. So that's how we can add our Apex class here. Now that our instructions are done, let's quickly preview this instruction. So I'm selecting any random contact, and let's click on save and preview. Okay, we can see the prompt resolution is created, and here we can see the name of the sender is replaced by my name, and the name of the recipient is replaced with the contact that we have selected over here. And inside our instructions we can see that the Apex class is replaced with the event details for this particular contact, state or city. So we can see that the Apex class has returned some event details based on your contact. Now in the response we can see that the LLM has generated a very pretty and concise email, including all the details that we have added in our instructions that we want to see in our email template. So this way we can add our Apex class in our prompt template. Now that our template is ready, let's activate this. Now let's go to our contact record and we can see how we can use it from our contact. So here we have on our contact record. Now let's click on this email option, and once this pop-up appears, you have to click on this draft with Einstein icon, and in the use pre-made instructions we can select our prompt template and it will start creating your sales email. Here we can see that our prompt template has generated the email for this particular contact, including all the event details based on the state and the city. We can see in the address we can see the state is San Francisco CA. So we can see for San Francisco CA it has returned all the event details and it has created a very concise and clear email template for your salespeople, and you can simply click on done and it will do your work. So this way you can use Apex class to automate your workflows and make your sales to focus on more critical tasks. And with just few clicks we can see how we can save some valuable time for our sales reps. And not just saving time, we are also ensuring consistency and quality across your communications, which ultimately leads to better results. So that's all for this video. If you have any questions or feedbacks or queries, please feel free to post in the comment section. And thanks for watching.